The story of Africa has always been written in the dust and blood of time. Our greatest tragedy has never been war, nor hunger, nor poverty. Our greatest tragedy has been disunity, the silence that divides brothers, the fear that stops sisters from standing together. We Africans have not moved with one heartbeat. Some of us are ready to rise, while others tremble in the shadows. Some speak with courage, while others hide behind comfort. And some, the saddest of all, wear crowns not to serve their people, but to serve the very powers that once enslaved their ancestors. They sit in golden halls, smiling before cameras, shaking hands with those who drained Africa's lifeblood. They studied in Paris, in London, in Washington. They returned not as free Africans, but as loyal students of the colonizers. Their skin is black, but their minds speak the language of those who once held the whip. This is why Africa still stumbles when she tries to walk tall. This is why our continent struggles to speak with one voice. Because we were taught to mistrust our neighbor, to doubt our strength, to depend on others for everything. They taught us dependency like religion, to wait for their food, their medicine, their weapons, their decisions. But tell me, how can a nation that cannot feed itself be free? How can a continent that cannot defend itself call itself independent? When I came to power, I did not come for glory. I did not come for riches or applause. I came because my land was bleeding. Villages burned, mothers fled, fathers buried sons. Terrorism had carved fear into every heart. I believed, perhaps naively, that the world truly wanted peace for us. I welcomed their words of friendship. They came to us smiling, saying, "We want to help you fight terrorism." But behind those smiles, they armed the very demons we were dying to destroy. They sent drones by day and guns by night. They shook our hands while feeding our killers. How can a man claim to help you put out a fire when he hides the matches behind his back? The truth hit me like thunder. The war on terror was never meant to end. It was a business, a chain to keep Africa weak, to keep us begging for help. A weak Africa is easy to manage. A poor Africa is easy to exploit. And so we made a decision that would shake the world. We stood tall and said, enough. No more foreign armies on our soil. Not French, not American, not anyone. No more masks of friendship hiding hands of control. We would defend our land with our own blood, or we would fall trying. Yes, they isolated us. Yes, they threatened us. But what is the value of a freedom that trembles before threats? What is independence if you must ask permission to breathe? When I looked into the eyes of my soldiers, I saw bravery caged by hunger. We thought we had weapons, but we had less than 100,000 bullets in the entire country. We thought we had an army, but we had only faith and courage. Some men shared rifles, some fought with rusted guns. And still, they fought. They fought not for money, but for the soil that buried their fathers. That day I understood. Africa will never be free until it builds its own shield. You cannot defend your home with borrowed guns. You cannot protect your children by asking your master for permission. So, we turned inward, to the heartbeat of our people. If the world will not arm us, we will arm ourselves. If no one will defend us, we will become our own defense. From dusty villages and crowded cities, thousands stood up. Farmers, students, mechanics, mothers. They called themselves the volunteers for the defense of the fatherland. They came with machetes, sticks, and faith, saying, if our land is under attack, we will defend it. And something magical happened. For the first time in years, our people stopped waiting for saviors. They became the saviors. The villages that once trembled began to sing again. Children returned to school. Fires were lit not from war, but from hope. But our enemy is not just the man with the gun. Our enemy hides in contracts, in banks, and smiling faces that say aid. Africa, rich in gold, in oil, in soil, remains poor not because we lack, but because we give away everything and receive nothing in return. They take our gold and sell us jewelry. They take our cocoa and sell us chocolate. They take our cotton and sell us shirts. They take our uranium and sell us electricity. We are the producers of the world, yet the poorest in it. They call it trade. I call it theft wrapped in diplomacy. They say they help us through loans, loans that come with chains. They buy our future with our present. They take our wealth, then sell us our own dignity. So we said no. No more selling gold at a price they decide. No more signing contracts written in foreign tongues. No more letting others decide what our land is worth. Of course, they were not pleased. They called us rebels. They called us radicals. But we are not against the West. We are for Africa. We are not rejecting friendship. We are demanding respect. We are not closing doors. We are choosing our own keys. And when they ask, "Aren't you afraid they'll target you like they did Lumumba, Sankara, Nkrumah?" I tell them, fear is for those who live for themselves. I live for my people. If my death buys them dignity, then it is a price gladly paid. Our heroes walked this same road. Sankara, Lumumba, Nkrumah, betrayed, assassinated, silenced. But their voices did not die. They became the wind that still shakes Africa's conscience. That fire burns again today. In Mali, in Niger, in Guinea, across the Sahel. The young have awoken. They refuse to bow to old lies. They refuse to live as slaves in free nations. Burkina Faso is not just a country anymore. It is a message. A message written in dust, sung by drums, shouted by millions. Africa will rise. We are planting the seeds of a self-reliant land. Our soil will feed our people before it feeds foreign markets. Our gold will build schools before it builds skyscrapers abroad. Our cotton will clothe our children before it fills foreign stores. We are reforming education too. Not to produce servants, but thinkers. For too long, our schools have been factories for colonial minds. They taught us how to serve others, not how to build our own dreams. That ends now. Our children will learn that their ancestors built pyramids when others were still learning to write. They will know that their land is sacred, not to be sold, not to be shamed. They will learn that culture is not backwardness, that our music, our languages, our ways, these are the treasures of the earth. A tree that forgets its roots falls with the first storm. Africa will not fall again. The future of our continent rests on one word: unity. Borders drawn by strangers have divided our blood for too long. We speak in many tongues but share one heart. If one nation stands while another starves, that is not success. That is failure in disguise. If one shines with electricity while another drowns in darkness, that is not progress. That is division. Africa's destiny is a single river. We must flow together or dry apart. That is why we are building a new alliance, the alliance of Sahel states, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger. A union not of paper, but of purpose. We will defend one another, feed one another, and trade with one another. We will build roads that connect hearts and rails that carry hope. From Bamako to Ouagadougou to Niamey, one breath, one rhythm, one Africa. And we dream of a day when Africa will mint its own currency, rooted not in colonial banks but in the wealth beneath our soil. A day when African money will be backed by African gold, not by the promises of distant lands. Our population is not our burden, 1.4 billion hearts. That is our greatest weapon. If we unite, no empire can intimidate us, no sanction can silence us. And to the youth, you who scroll, who create, who dream, you are not the leaders of tomorrow. You are the revolution of today. You have been told you are poor. You have been told you are weak. You have been told you are nothing. They want you to believe that, because belief is power, but you are everything. You are the sons and daughters of the builders of pyramids, of the writers of Timbuktu, of the warriors who defied empires. Don't wait for permission to rise. If you can code, build for Africa. If you can farm, feed Africa. If you can sing, inspire Africa. If you can fight, defend Africa. Every honest worker, every teacher, every artist, you are the army of progress. Don't run to lands that don't value your soul. Build the paradise you dream of right here, in the dust, in the sun, in the rhythm of your ancestors. The Africa you seek already exists. It is waiting for you to believe in it. Reject laziness, reject division, reject despair. Your greatest weapon is not a gun, it is your mind. Your greatest armor is not steel, it is unity. Your greatest power is not wealth, it is belief. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is action despite fear. And when you rise, Africa will rise with you. No savior is coming from the sky. No miracle is coming from outside. Africa's redemption lies in the hands of her own children. We have everything we need: land, youth, minerals, courage. What we lack is not power, it is belief in our power. Our ancestors fought with spears against cannons and still stood tall. What excuse do we have now, with knowledge, technology, and millions ready to act? We are not poor, we are robbed. We are not weak, we are divided. We are not cursed, we are asleep. But now, Africa is waking up. Every worker, every farmer, every soldier, every mother, you are the heartbeat of a continent reborn. Our fight is not for revenge, it is for justice. Not to dominate, but to be free. Not to destroy, but to rebuild. The struggle of Burkina Faso is not just for Burkina Faso, it is for Africa's soul. We are proving that independence is not a gift, it is a choice. And though they isolate us, lie about us, threaten us, they cannot stop a people who have rediscovered their pride. The drums of Africa are beating again, louder, stronger, closer. And this time, the world will listen. Because this time, Africa will not whisper. Africa will roar.